and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And this week we're talking about the second season of Kakegurui.
Yeah, everyone's favorite gambling anime.
What's it called again?
It's Kakegurui.
Right, but compulsive gambler.
Yeah.
Is what it means.
Is the actual literal translation.
But first, we liked things.
Yeah, I got some stuff here.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, well,
Because it's been a while since we recorded.
it has been a while since we recorded. That's why the list is a little long. First, I'd like to start with the South Park video game, the sequel to The Stick of Truth, which was South Park: The Fractured Butthole, which is their superhero Civil War one.
Okay.
Yeah, which again, I don't, they're very clever with their titles, somehow got through. No one realized what they were saying, I guess. But it was a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of South Park, it's like playing through a long episode, and they updated some of the mechanics with some cool new combat stuff, and it's all...
Called The Fractured Butthole?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be fractured butthole, or?
Yeah, but it's... when it rolls off the tongue.
Oh, fractured butthole.
Yes.
Like W-8.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. They're clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun. I recommend playing it, though, for sure. It was great. And I've also been... A long time ago, I read the first book of the Expanse series.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to give it a revisit because I never continued on. So I've also watched season 1 of the show, halfway through season 2, and I've read the first 3 books, and I'm into book 4 about halfway. So the first one's Leviathan Wakes, then Caliban's War, and then Abaddon's Gate.
Nice.
Very fun stuff. I didn't realize that the author, James S.A. Corey, was actually 2 people, and they're the assistants of George R.R. Martin.
Ah, nice.
And so, yeah, it's just kind of a cool take on sci-fi and pretty real world projected about, like, humanity living in, trying to terraform Mars and then having to use the asteroids for materials and minerals, and it was good. Enjoying it. We're going to continue on with the show as well.
Nice.
What about you?
Oh, that's it? That's all I...
That
you
was
read
it,
a lot
yeah.
of stuff.
Well, I read 4.5 books and watched
Yeah, but it was really like 2 things that you talked about. A video game and...
And I had to finish the video game. It took me like 14 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I watched Homecoming on Prime Video.
Right, you were talking about that.
Which, that was off air.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really good. I recommend it for the visual style. It was really cool. But it made it, as I watched it, I realized it was based on a podcast. So I went and listened to the podcast. And story-wise, the podcast is very different and vastly superior. But nice. I like the way that Homecoming looks, like the show. Yeah. And if you just watch the show, it's a very good show. It's just not the podcast.
Right.
But then that podcast, because it's like a fictional podcast, led me down a rabbit hole of listening to more fictional podcasts. So I also listened to The Message / Life After, mm-hmm. which is a good little sci-fi horror.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like The Message better than Life After because they're very short episodes. Like one of them is 10 minutes long.
Oh, cool.
So it's just quick and to the point, and it's in the format of somebody making a podcast, whereas Life After is like some guy talking.
Right.
But they're both pretty good. And then now I'm listening to The Black Tapes, which is another like paranormal kind of horror-y fictional podcast.
Nice.
Which I'm enjoying. And then... What else? I went and saw... Can I talk about the movie I saw?
Oh, Spider-Man?
Yeah. Or are we going to do an episode on it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
I was just going to say whether I thought it was good or not.
Well, go ahead.
I thought it was good.
Yeah? Okay.
I liked it.
Very good.
Yeah. And without sounding too creepy, because Tom Holland is an adult.
Yeah. He just looks young.
He just looks young and he plays a younger... But he's very, very built in it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Because he's without a shirt.
I assume like half the movie he's got no shirt on.
I wish.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just one scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to check it out.
It's funny that Jake Gyllenhaal was like up for Spider-Man.
Yeah, at one point.
20 years ago, and now he's a villain.
Yeah.
Or a good guy. Who knows?
Oh, snap. I think if you know anything about Spider-Man, you know Mysterio's
He's a good guy.
But anyway, we're not talking
He's
about
a cool guy.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
On to the show, though.
All right, trash fire time.
Season 2 on Netflix. We did do an episode about Season 1, of course.
Yeah, so go download that. I loved Season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember enjoying Season 1 as well. I had some qualms with it.
It was all good.
Yeah, I went into this one pretty open-minded. I was like, oh, okay, what are they going to do?
Season 1 is like everything I want in an anime.
Right.
It's stupid. It's got like overtly sexualized characters. They do weird faces, and it's a crazy premise.
Sure.
And I guess if that's the only thing that I'm looking for, then Season 2 met all those qualifications.
Yeah, it was all there except for one other element.
Plot.
Yes. Yeah, kinda. Well, we'll get to that.
There's this...
So there's 12 episodes, all on Netflix.
How does it end? I wonder if I missed the last 2 episodes. I didn't check.
There was the auction game was the last game.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you watched it.
I watched it all. I thought there was only 10, so I got very confused.
Do you want to just go through, like... I kind of have it broken down, my notes broken down by game, because like every 2 episodes was like one game, essentially, right? But
so,
okay.
Can I, before we get into it...
Okay. You already said you didn't really enjoy it.
No. But, okay, did you enjoy it? No. Great.
Sort of. I enjoyed parts of it, things I didn't enjoy about it, but I got some qualification stuff near the end. We'll just go through
I enjoyed parts of it, too.
Just go ahead, start with what you're going to say.
So, here's my theory. What's the boy's name?
Starts with an M? No, or is that the other guy?
Like
the main
guy.
one we argued about that he was the main character last season.
Because he is the main character. But
sure. He's definitely not in this season.
He's barely there this season. What's his name? We'll call him Mike.
I can't remember his name because I can remember the other guy, Manuda. And what is his name? Doesn't it start with like an I? It's like Ishi something. Anyway, who cares?
We can look it up, but we're calling him Mike now.
Okay. Mike. Our protagonist from previous season.
Yeah. So in the first season, it's crazy. There's crazy things happening, the whole thing.
Sure.
But
and it's all about money in that season.
And it's all about money.
Yeah.
But what makes it work is that we have this main character, Mike, who has about as much idea of what's going on as we do, and who isn't invested in the gambling.
Yeah.
Everybody else is invested in the gambling, but he only does it because it's like a social norm.
Yeah.
Right?
Or he gets drawn into it.
Or whatever. And so he takes us by the hand, and he leads us through this crazy world and this crazy story so that we can witness what's happening to his friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a character arc, and he grows and changes. Nobody else does. Fuck you, he's the main character.
Okay.
In Season 2, we don't have that at all. It's just crazy, and there's nothing to really... Except for the weird, like, gimmick... There's nothing really to string along event to event to event.
Yeah, and even they break away from that occasionally as well.
Because they're crazy. And so the event Devin's talking about is that the president from this previous season's gonna she's like, I'm gonna abdicate my head of being the president as well as the clan, what the heck are they? It's not. Is it Jabami? Is her last name? No.
No, because that's Yumeko's last name.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like, I'm gonna give that up.
Let's call it the Menudo clan.
And I should remember this. I just watched it. But anyway, and
Momo.
Then, yeah,
Moko. Mono.
It ends in Bami. Is it?
The Momobami.
Yeah, it's Momobami. I think.
Yeah, the Momobami clan.
Anyway, and she's like, every student is going to have one token representing one vote, and whoever at the end of unspecified period of time has the most votes becomes the president as well as the head of the clan.
Yes. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Are there adults in this clan?
No, remember? Because she does that secret meeting in the one episode where she's just talking to some people and she's like, no, I'm the head of the clan, and then you hear some older voices, but they're all just like, there's no adults anywhere, remember?
What does the clan do?
They supposedly have political and business ties and etc.
Oh, right, because she owns people's life plans.
Yeah,
from season 1.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. And then, so the clan representatives send their kids, so her cousins and such, show up, and they're going to take part in the thing. But they introduce like 15 of them
Yeah,
immediately.
so they all... Yeah. And there's like 15 fucking characters.
Yeah.
And
here was something as well, is that I didn't realize till like maybe halfway through the season, because they don't really touch on it. It's like the next week.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even like the next school year.
No. It's like a day later.
Yeah, no.
2 days have gone by.
Basically.
Yeah, and
Because I was like, what?
So season 1 works.
Sure.
Because there's a student council, and Yumiko
she gambles her way through them.
She wants to gamble her way to the president because she likes gambling, and the president's the best gambler.
Supposedly, yes, the best gambler in the school.
I'm
gonna take her on.
That's what she wants to do. And we're like, cool. There's like, what, 6 or 7 of them?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And they're all very distinct.
Yeah.
Like, we have asshole dude, we've got girl that bought her way in.
Idol girl.
Yeah. Idol girl.
Yeah.
That girl that wears the onesie all the time.
The lolly girl.
The lolly girl, yeah. The weird, kind of, that's it, right? That's all?
Well, and the vice president's twin, who wears a mask, which I always thought was like, oh, they were like interchange and then different. Yeah. But then it turns out we get reveals in season 2 that she's like weaker than the president.
Who knows?
Which I was like, what?
Yeah, so the president, and then her twin is the vice president, but she wears a mask, so we don't know that she's the twin. The first season.
Yes.
And then there's
but then
also...
they show it at one point.
Yeah. And then the president has her assistant, who doesn't do really much in the first season.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's kind of there.
Just kind of there. And it's like, okay, cool. We're going to battle our way up through all these different kind of anime stereotypes, and how would that be fun? Yay! And then in season 2, we still have the student council, minus the guy because he's in the hospital for his hair turning white.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, here's 15 more fucking characters.
Yeah.
And there's not really much going on to distinguish them from each other. Well, there's like Grudge Girl.
Yeah.
There's other lolly girl that's got one blue eye and one pink eye.
Yeah.
There's Wheelchair Girl and Blonde Girl.
Who I assume just is her pusher.
Yeah. There's
Buddy with the scar, and he's all badass looking.
He's got a spiked hair too, right?
Yeah.
There's another dude.
Yeah, there's another dude.
Suave, I guess.
Whatever.
There's another girl.
There's the one girl, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, but like her boobs are massive. Like they're bigger than her head. They must be. Like.
Yeah. But wait, isn't that Grudge Girl?
That? No,
there's the
no, that's the actress girl.
Okay, yeah.
No, you're thinking her. I'm talking about the other one who takes place in the Greater Good game.
Oh, with the white hair.
With the white hair.
Yeah, and massive boobs.
Yeah, it's like, dude, okay, like.
And then there's like the sisters.
Yeah.
Or cousins or some shit.
No, they're sisters. Or they're cousins, but they are close like sisters.
And they can communicate telepathically.
Well, non-verbally. It's depicted as.
And then there's like this other guy that is their servant.
Yes.
And then that's it.
Batsumami.
Yeah. And there's like, okay, so that's like 27 people.
Yeah, see, and because I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool premise / setup.
Yeah.
But the only thing I was like, that seems kind of limited for the amounts that can be gambled for, which they come up with a solution for that later, but it's also kind of, I was like, because in the previous season it was like, oh, it's always like more money. And this is like, I got my one vote.
For sure.
Like,
I feel like they could have... Oh yeah, student council, there's also Crazy Girl. One-Eye Girl. My favorite looking character. I forgot to mention her earlier. Yeah, Eye Patchy.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have just not included the council. And I would have been fine with it if they're going to introduce 15 characters.
Or you just introduce like half of the new characters. It's an adaptation from a manga, you can take some of them out.
But I mean, because they lost in season 1. If they didn't show up in season 2, I wouldn't have noticed.
Right.
They could have kept Lolly Girl because she had a part to play.
Yes.
But the rest of them,
Yeah. But anyway, so episode 1 and 2 has the 3-finger guillotine game.
Right.
And that's between the hectochromia purple-eyed girl and Yumeko and Eye Patch.
An Eye Patch who's...
loves the torture, as we know. So.
Yeah. And then Yumeko is still mad at her.
Yes.
And pretends that she's not there after the game, which I kind of found hilarious, and I liked that.
Well, and so here the game is there's a guillotine, and there's a number of strings, 20-something, I can't remember exactly the number, and one of them secretly is hooked up to the guillotine blade, cutting, and they're each going to take a turn cutting one of the strings, causing the blade to drop. If you pull your hand out, you lose.
Yeah.
Or you keep your hand in. But then secretly, there's a metal plate that actually prevents it, which I was like...
I do have a question, though.
Okay, sure.
How do you win?
Well, it's just a game of chicken.
Yeah, but so you get your finger cut off and then you win?
Well...
I mean, without the cheating?
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's just a game of will of who's going to, stay... as the strings get lower and lower, someone eventually will pull out to just be like, I don't lose my finger.
Will they?
Well, that's the game, right?
If all 3 people get their fingers cut off, who wins the vote?
They tied.
They tied!
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and then so, as per whatever odds can be calculated, they get down to 2 strings. They just keep cutting and cutting.
Yeah, so she cheated. Eyeball girl.
Well, she knows there's a metal plate in there.
There's a metal plate.
The game was never going to cut someone's finger off. It's just a mental torture device.
Yes. And then Yumiko kind of...
She asked the election person to be like, oh, did you take out that thing I noticed? And then she was like, oh, yeah. And then so now the girl thinks the plate's gone, which I was like, this makes it more fun.
For sure. Yeah. But it turns out it was just because the table was wobbly, so she asked her to take out the stabilizers.
Or just reshim the table so it was stable.
Yeah.
So she eventually loses.
So what happens is Eye Patch Girl cuts the last 2 strings at the same time, which prompts Yumiko to not talk to her anymore. Yeah. But Eyeball Girl loses because she pulls her finger out.
Yes, because she
freaks the fuck out.
She freaks out.
But Yumiko and Eye Patch leave their fingers in, but Eye Patch is disqualified for cutting 2 strings.
That's right. So Yumiko wins the game.
She gets all the votes.
Yeah. But I don't know, I thought it was a cool game, and it was just kind of an interesting... It was weird to start with that, though, because...
Yep.
Yeah, in the first season, they started with a game that involved, disfingering or death later in the season.
Yeah, that was Eye Patch's game when they were doing the Russian roulette.
With the gun, yeah.
With the gun, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I thought it was an odd place to start for sure. Because then the next game seems to make more sense.
Okay, did it feel like to you that you were coming in mid-season?
Well, and that's what I was saying with the time thing as well, that it was there was no time jump to be oh, and now here's a new situation. Yeah. It was literally just continuation, and I was this is crazy.
Also, I thought that the president and Yumiko kind of reached an understanding at the end of season 1.
That's exactly it.
They hate each other again?
No, it's not that they hate each other again. They're just okay, next game will be good again or whatever.
So fucking weird.
That's why I was saying the time jump thing didn't make any sense, because then
and they changed the main theme, and it's not good.
That actually is something I was going to bring up at some point.
It's a good thing we did 27 flashbacks where they played it again.
But yeah, the new theme, not as good as the first theme.
Yeah. Okay, next game.
The next game was the numbers add to 9 game. Excuse me, this is episode 3 and 4.
Oh, that's with the cards, correct?
That's with the cards.
And the sisters?
And the sisters.
And it's Yumiko and Mike.
And Mike, our main character that we forgot his name.
And we forgot to mention that Lolly Girl is the head of the...
Election committee.
Yeah. So she has 5 friends that also wear onesies?
Well, no, it's just whoever, or they're just people or whatever that they oversee the games. Yeah. Anything involving votes, there has to be somebody from the election committee watching the game.
And they also wear anime onesies.
And they also wear the same anime onesie.
And one of them has really weird little eyebrows.
Sure.
Did you notice that? She has really weird little eyebrows. Yeah. Okay. So she's overseeing this game. Yeah. So the game is they get dealt 4 cards?
I think it's 4 cards, yeah.
And
they have values from 0 to 4, I think it is.
Yes.
Or 0 to 3.
0 to 4.
I think it's 0 to 4.
And they have to... They can't go over 9. When they each play a card, and whoever puts it over 9 loses that round.
That's correct, yeah. And they were going to play 3 rounds.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is where they introduce that they can bet 24 hours of their time to the election committee as chips as well, because in this game there was a betting element, not just everyone antes in or whatever. It was like, no, I'm going to bet 1,000 votes or whatever, right?
Yeah. So they're playing and everything is going swimmingly.
In round 1 anyway. Yeah.
In round 1. And then Yumiko falls on the ground because when they hugged before the event, she got stabbed with a syringe.
Well,
full of death.
This could have been anything to scratch her or whatever.
Yeah.
Thing, right? So I think they would have noticed a giant syringe. Let's go play this game. First, I'm gonna pump you with this.
So what happened was the mean sisters.
One of them poisoned her.
And they're the only ones who have the antidote, and it's gonna kill her really fast.
Yeah, it's not quick, but not slow.
And they can't see a doctor for reasons.
Sure.
Anime reasons.
Yeah. And so Yumiko tells our guy...
Tells Mike
to call Saotomi Mary.
And that he should do whatever she says.
That's right.
Without question.
Yes.
Did you find that Mary was a different character in season 2 to season 1?
Yeah, kind
I
of.
felt like her character changed quite a bit.
I don't think so. I think it was just more she was just like, I'm sick of this, I'm stepping up.
Right. Oh, and then she's also getting kind of blackmailed by the vice president.
Yeah.
Because the vice president wants her to be president.
I guess.
And she's gonna...
help her.
Change for 1,000 votes. She's gonna follow her around or some shit.
You help her out, give her influence, something. It's unspecified, and it was also unspecified through the rest of the season. I was hoping they'd come back to it.
We'll get to it, but
anyway.
The season just ends.
Yeah.
So she
goes to the game.
She's got her 1,000 votes.
And then they do some raises, etc., etc. Round 2, she's like, all right, let's do the thing.
And she's like, show me your cards, Mike.
Yeah.
And he does. So he shows everybody his cards.
Yeah.
And they're like, you fools.
Yeah, the two sisters, they keep on communicating back and forth, somehow non-verbally, aka telepathically. And they're like, we're gonna win, wahaha.
Yeah.
Is basically the dialogue.
And then also, they up the ante by if you... lose, you have to prick your finger on poison syringe.
Yeah, she brings out a little thing that's got the equivalent of small nails on it. She's like, it's all poisoned. Whoever has to prick it too.
And they're gonna play for infinite fixer-uppers.
No, they throw in there's some of the antidote.
Antidotes, yeah, 3 antidotes.
Yeah, so there's some antidotes in there.
Puzzle.
And etc. And I actually really liked the
twist.
The twist, yeah, was... Because so they played round 2 and 3, and Mary, using her keen knowledge and gambling ability, they win round 2, and then that's when round 3 goes crazy with its betting, and the sisters still think they're going to win.
Yeah.
But this was it. Mary noticed how the dealer was purposefully trick shuffling.
Yes.
But trick shuffling in a consistent way, that the cards would be in a certain sequence, and so you just had to know learn that sequence, and then you could manipulate the numbers that came out.
So by knowing what Mike has,
yes,
she was able to guess, and knowing what she had, she was able to figure out what the other two had.
That's right. She was able to determine their cards.
Yeah.
And then not manipulate, but just be like, this is what they could play. As the sequence goes.
Manipulating the Uno deck.
Yeah, basically, yes.
And then the sisters have a moment because older sister, or taller
one, yeah.
is like, you're gonna sacrifice yourself, fuck you.
Yeah, basically. I thought that, well, yeah, because basically it's set up, like, the one sister loses in round 2, so round 3, they're like, whatever, we'll, like, you know, up this up, we'll win, and it'll be bad for them. And then she's like, oh no, if it goes this way, I'm gonna lose too. So she makes the other one be like, you lose again, so then at least one of us is still in this game. So
yeah. See, it's like, does that sister die?
No, I think you see her near the end, or it's just a
remember. I stopped paying attention.
You do see her near the end, actually, because they show a scene or whatever, and then she's still there. Because
right, I know, in the auction.
Yeah, because also one of the stipulations was if you lose, you're out of the presidential race as well. Right. She was like, "Don't both of us get out, only one."
Gotcha.
So they win. Yes. Mary and Mike.
And they give Yumiko the
antidote, yeah. And hooray. Next game. Let's see. Is
there craziness going on in the background? I can't remember. Probably. Some craziness happens in the background.
There was some stuff with Batsumami where he's just like, you know, stops someone beating up on a house pet or whatever.
Oh, right. So the servant dude.
Yeah, the butler. Also administers the antidote.
Is a ladies' man. And he is spreading that charm like mayo.
Right.
That's important later on.
Yes.
Winky face.
So episode 5 and 6 was another idol battle, essentially, because the idol girl was like... I hated
this, actually.
She was like, oh, I'll get... Yumiko, she's like, oh, we should team up again and then we can get a bunch of votes doing whatever. And then it turns out that the goth girl is a famous actress.
Yeah, because Idol Girl is obsessed with her.
Yes.
And I think...
Because she came from the school.
Right. Yeah. And I think she wanted to team up with Yumiko...
She wanted to do a performance, but somehow she would turn that into a way of getting votes.
Right. Because she wanted Yumiko to be president?
No,
because she doesn't want to be president.
She doesn't want to be president, but she just wanted to gather enough votes so that she can lose it to the future president to be like...
to be in their pocket.
Yeah, to be like, all those votes I gave you, yo. Right. That's her scheme.
Gotcha.
Then it's revealed, goth girl...
Is the famous
beautiful actress, which I was like, okay. And then she's like, we're gonna battle, and it's idol battle again. But it was like... The stakes weren't real, you know what I mean?
It was...
And it was all inconsequential.
It was so stupid.
The only thing is I did like the card game they played.
At the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So their first round,
singing contest.
They had to do a singing contest.
Yeah. So... Yumiko and her, they do some kind of idol routine.
Yeah, and then the other girl comes out and sings Amazing Grace for like 20 fucking minutes.
I was actually really surprised that she like sang the whole song.
Oh my god, it just went on and on and on. And then it blew everybody's panties off.
Sure.
And then round 2 was an acting challenge where they had to eat spicy things?
Yes. Well, no, there was 4 macaroons.
And one was spicy.
The uber spicy one.
Yeah.
And they had to kind of figure out who or which one was their spicy one.
Yeah. So they lost the first round, and they lost the second round?
Think so, yeah.
So why did they even bother with the third round?
I don't know. It's like Family Feud or one of those games where every other round is inconsequential because the third rounds were triple points or whatever.
Yeah. So then they go into the third round.
No, they won the second round because Yumiko guessed right.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
So it was tied.
Oh, so it was tied. So that makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, so the third round is a card game, but it also was weird because they're playing 2v1. There was like 3 people in the game.
Well, because Yumiko and Idol Girl had a falling out because Yumiko's like, you gotta get your fucking head in the game. And she's like, no, I'm a failure.
Yeah, she's too good.
Yeah.
She's gonna crush me, which she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a moment.
Yeah.
So they're kind of playing one-on-one, but they're still kind of a team.
Yeah, so the game was kind of like a game of chicken. And the card deck was a standard deck of cards. I think, it was a standard deck, and then they would look at the card, announce a figure, put it down, and then the total, if it got above 49, I think it was the total.
Oh, that was
69 or 64? There was a number.
If they got above it...
Or maybe it was 70. Maybe it was just right on. Anyway.
If they got above it, the person who put them above it is out.
Well, no, because then they would count the deck, and then if it was under, you, like, because you were, like, lying or whatever, and if it was above, you were busted. There was a rule set to it that I actually thought was cool.
Yeah, but if you cut it off, if you were the last person and it was over, then you lost, and if it was under, you were okay.
Something like that,
yeah.
Anyway, so it goes around.
You could lie or tell the truth.
Yeah. So it goes around, and there's some anime-esque dialogue in between each round, etc. Right? But
and then I don't know what the fuck the idol girl was talking about.
Yeah, and then
she goes a little nuts.
Yeah, and then the game just ends, and then there's no real like stakes. No one wins, loses, or it's just like.
I thought Yumiko and her won, didn't they?
Yeah, but where did they win?
Like a vote.
Yeah, exactly. Like one vote. It's like woohoo.
And then. Yeah, because Idol freaks out and she's like, no, I can lose to her and I'll be the best loser she's ever won against. Or some stupid shit. I don't know.
Anyway, I thought the game was cool. It was stakes weren't really a thing, and it was just more about the emotional, like, oh, I'm taking on this person.
Those 2 episodes could have been removed and I would have been fine.
Sure. Well, no, I think actually one of the later ones could be personally.
Oh, okay, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh, yeah, those 2 could have been removed as well.
Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about.
There's like fucking half the episode.
Well, and this is what I was saying with an adaptation, is they could have pulled some of it out. It's okay to do.
Yeah, I know, right?
So anyway, we moved on from there to, I think this was probably your favorite, and probably one of my favorite, was the Greater Good game.
Yeah, that was my favorite game.
It was episode 7 and 8.
Because it was intrigue.
Yeah, and so there was a group of people, and they were all given 5 coins.
So before we get to the game...
Okay, shit.
Fingernails from season 1.
That's right, yes.
Pops in.
Yeah.
She's gonna do a game with Yumiko, or whatever, fuck it. She's in the hospital visiting asshole dude with white hair.
Yuda, I think is his name.
And he's given up on life.
Yeah, he's all like, I'm lost.
He's like, I'm a loser. I'm a lost loser.
Yeah.
And she's like, but
yeah.
we're in love or some shit. And he's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. Then they go to this game.
Right.
So this game is Yumiko, fingernails, spiky haired dude, big boobs lady, and giving up man.
Yuda, yeah.
Is there anyone else? Is Mike in it?
I was trying to remember. I don't think so.
I think there's only 5 of them.
Yeah, I don't think he's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is Mike? Where's Mike been for all these fucking episodes? He was the main character in season 1.
Yeah, no, because I thought he was going to be in the game, but he wasn't. He wasn't.
Maybe he just watched.
Well, and Yumiko.
Oh, and it's set up by Wheelchair.
Yeah, Yumiko and Wheelchair got together, and they were like, let's make a pool of votes, and we'll do this game, and all the votes will belong to somebody, but we'll be like a coalition. Because in the background they show some scenes of the previous president. She's winning enough votes still. She's still.
Oh yeah, yeah. We get like kind of a rating. Of power. Wait, is Mary in this game?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I don't think so. Oh no! Like I was saying, so they get coins, and there's gonna be 5 rounds, and at the end of the round, they're gonna go into a room, and there's gonna be a piggy bank and a tax bin. And however much money gets put in the tax bin is going to get doubled and given to everybody. Anything that's in your personal piggy bank, you're going to get to keep. But this was also interesting, is that no one else knows the total that you have.
Yes.
I thought that was going to be like an ounce or something like that kind of thing, but not. And they can eliminate one person after every round if they want.
If they unanimously vote for
as a group, they can eliminate one person.
Yeah.
And that's the game, is to get to 40 coins through this method. Whoever, after those 3 rounds, gets to 40 coins, they win.
Yeah, and so, like, if they all put all their money in the tax bin every round, then I think they'd all get to 40 at the same time.
Something like that,
and then they could just split the votes.
Yes.
Because didn't Wheelie put some of it too, right?
She fronted a bunch to the game.
Like 100 votes to the pot.
To the pot, to the game, yeah. So there was like something to win.
So you would, even if you all tied, you'd win more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this game actually reminded me a lot of something out of the Liar game manga, which was pretty fun to read, which had games like this. And it was like games of intrigue and psychological, like, how do people react and what are they going to do? Because after the first round, of course...
Oh, and they have 5 minutes to discuss before they all go in.
Yeah.
And then, at the start of each round, they can eliminate someone during that discussion time.
Yeah, so, they're all like, let's put all the money in the tax bin.
Yeah.
And then, of course, not everyone does it.
Yeah.
Which I was like, perfect. That's what makes the game interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I thought that was more, it was a weird, not a weird twist, but it makes it harder because they don't announce totals of like, oh, this person has, they don't even tell like who's in a ranking. That would have even made it been like, oh, this person's ranked up high.
Too easy then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I was kind of not annoyed at because at the end they do a big thing, but I would have liked to have seen people's turns.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It was still a
because it mostly focuses on fingernails.
Yeah.
And her actions.
Yeah, and then
so after round 1, not everyone put in the money. Yumiko's in round 2 is like, okay, give me a piece of paper and I'll write down how much coinage everyone should put in from 3 to 5 or whatever, or 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Into the tax thing so we can maybe root out who's betraying everybody.
Yeah. And of course, it doesn't add up properly. So
Correct.
then they're like, oh, maybe there's 2 people.
Yeah. I did like the accusation towards Yumiko because Manuda's like, Yumiko's the traitor here.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, probably.
Didn't they reason it out though by like, doesn't Fingernails, I think she makes the point that Yumiko just likes gambling and there's no point in for winning for the sake of winning or something like that.
Basically, they're just like, she just wants to gamble. She wouldn't betray us just to betray us.
Yeah.
Which I was like, yeah, that's good point.
So then is it the next round where Yumiko and what's his name?
Manuda?
Yeah. They kind of go a little bit nuts.
Basically.
And aren't they both like, we'll both cheat or something, or we're not going to put any money in?
Yeah, they're both like, I'm not putting any money in the bin.
Yeah.
And then Fingernails is like, no, I'll lose if you do that. Yeah, because if you don't get to 40, you just lose.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're just like, they go all anime crazy.
Yeah, they have a moment.
Yeah. But it was a ploy, let's say.
It was a ruse.
It was a ruse, yeah. It's all a ruse.
It's all a ruse. A red herring.
Yeah. Because then the next round occurs, and there's far less money in there. Mm-hmm. I don't think much more discussion happens after that round, because it's not until round 4 when they figure it out.
Yes.
Right?
And it's Yumiko that figures it out, isn't it?
Maybe? No, it's Manuda, because he does a big speech on the board, and he's got like...
Oh, yeah. Well, Yumiko knows, but she lets him do a speech so he can discover himself.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So he figures out that it would have to be 2 people cheating who go one after the other through a series of notes.
Yeah. Which I was also like, oh, that's pretty cool and clever.
Yeah, totally.
Then, he figures out that his fingernails is telling the person after him what to do.
Which is big boobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's telling the person after her.
Yeah, fingernails is telling big boobs what to do.
Yeah, but you said fingernails is telling the person after him, and...
No, I said after her.
You said after him. We'll play it back. Wasn't it being useless?
I'll just edit it out.
Dan, it's cheating!
Yeah, I'm cheating at the game. But yeah, so she was telling her what to do, but it was actually to set her up to lose.
Yes.
Yeah, because she was like, they'll probably figure it out.
Yeah.
So, and then they eliminate her.
Yes.
And then they all win the game after with teamwork.
Yes.
Hooray!
And then,
But then the stupidest twist happens.
What's that?
Oh, sorry, you had something else to say first?
Oh, then they're like, oh, you lost. And she's like, but I'm all happy because they won Menudo's heart.
That's what I was saying was the stupidest twist ever, is that before the game, Fingernails made a bet with Wheelchair that if she won, and Menuda came through and broke from his malaise.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was dumb.
Yeah, well, she didn't care about the vote. She only cares about her boyfriend.
Sure.
Like a strong, independent woman. Listen, she's crazy. She likes to rip off people's fingernails. What do you want?
Okay, I'm just saying she could have made a better bet.
Well, she's an idiot.
Yeah.
Just like everyone in this season.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was like, again, it was similar to me to episode 5 and 6. There was the ending was inconsequential.
Yep.
Because again, there's no real stakes because the person who we're sort of following, Yumeko, doesn't care about being president. She's just amassing votes for amassing votes' sake because she likes to gamble. And these people, it was like, and like I care about wheelchairs. No. So
no, that's the problem with the season. You don't fucking care about anybody.
Yeah, and I was just like, but the game was cool. Again, I was like,
it was a cool game. Yeah. Cool twist.
I would have liked to see more of the game. I think that was my thing because they just do like some, we get more of the discussion. Cool, but I was like, I want to see more of the game.
For sure. Yeah. No.
And then we move on to the next, which is the tower. Yeah.
Okay, so this episode starts with a ranking that doesn't matter for president.
Yeah.
And then the president's assistant has a fucking hissy fit for some reason.
No, well, Yumiko was like, hey, president, let's gamble.
Right.
And then the assistant's like, you're useless and you shouldn't gamble through your trash.
That's right. And then the president's like, I've got a special game for you.
Yeah, she's like, okay, you gamble with Yumeko. And then she's like, oh my god, okay, fine.
And they have a special tower for this.
Yeah. So ridiculous.
That she just has built somewhere.
Sure.
And we get stupid, pointless backstory about the assistant that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
That she's like a perfect...
Well, she's just studious.
She's studious.
Yeah,
and then she's got the president, and she wants to be the best
so she can be with the president, essentially.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
But the tower...
So the tower...
It's 5 levels.
Oh wait, let's talk about what you're gambling first.
Okay,
This isn't for votes.
That's right, this isn't for votes.
So they die.
No, well that's
later.
That's later. Initially, it was something else.
So if the assistant loses, she's never allowed to think about the president again.
Pretty much. And the president will act like she's a perfect stranger forever. And
if Yumiko loses, she can never think about gambling again.
Yeah, she's gonna stop gambling.
Forever. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. Like, okay.
Listen, I don't mean this in an existential way. I mean this in a character way. There's nothing else to her.
Yeah. But then when they get to the tower, then the stakes get raised.
Yeah, so it's to make sure that Yumiko never gambled and the assistant never thinks of the president again. They have to jump off the tower and kill themselves.
Well, just jump off the tower is specified.
Kill themselves.
Sure.
Okay, so the thing is, it's really dumb. There's a bunch of floors and doors and...
Hatches with some ladders.
And a lily.
Yeah, so the game is they have to go from the top floor to the first floor and get a lily and then come back and deliver it to the president. And to move through the floors, there's doors and hatches with like a puzzle of some sort. Yeah.
So there's a main door with a staircase that goes from the 5th floor to the 1st floor.
Right.
With no other floors.
Yeah.
You can't go to any other floors. And then the rest of them go down either 1 or 2 floors.
Yes. There's like a hatch or stairways and etc. So you can hatch them with ladders. So yeah, and I was disappointed just in it's trivia. And I was like, trivia? That's not...
No, it was crazy math or some shit.
Yeah, but it's like math, not all math, but some of it was math. Like the first one was hexadecimal, which I immediately recognized as a computer person. I was like, okay, hard.
I didn't.
Well,
that could have just been gibberish.
No, I was like, it was hex code. But anyway, so, which made me laugh. But I was just like, that's trivia. It's not even like a skill thing anymore. And I was like,
trivia is skill, Dan.
Yeah, but they built up.
I watch quiz shows. I know my trivia.
But they built up secretary girl as like the ultimate knowledge base. So I was like,
But there was a trick to it.
There was a trick to it, which was extra dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So the tower rotates.
The floors rotate.
The floors in the tower rotate.
Yeah. And so, because what happens is Smart Girl gets to the bottom because they each take one turn and they have 5 minutes to pick what to do and which door they go through, etc. So
Yumiko tries the front door, the first door to downstairs, and when she opens it, it's a brick wall.
It's stone wall.
So they're like, oh fuck, we gotta go through
the hatch.
Hatch. Yeah.
And then, so Trivia Girl goes down the hatch.
Yeah, and then she has a mental breakdown and smacks her fucking head on the floor or something.
Basically. Because the first hatch she chooses only goes down 1 floor. And then she's like, oh no, now Yumeko can use the other hatch, go down 2 floors.
Right.
And beat me to the
And she's
the
like, but I'm the smart.
I'm the smart one.
I'll do the thing.
Yeah. But basically, it turns out, because she beats Yumeko to the bottom floor.
Yes.
Because Yumeko spends a little more time exploring the tower than Trivia Girl does.
Yeah, she looks out a door at the moon.
Yeah.
And she acts like a weirdo.
Sure. She does some standard Yumeko stuff.
Yeah.
and then on the way up, we just follow Trivia/secretary, and she's all like, I can do it, I'm answering the questions. And then she gets there, and she lost.
Yumeko's there.
Yeah, Yumeko's already there.
Yumeko, tower spun or some shit.
The tower rotates.
And so she waited at the bottom till it was open door time and then ran up the stairs.
Basically. And I was like, alright, fine, still dumb, but okay. And so she's like, oh, okay, pick a door, secretary, you gotta jump.
Yeah, and she's like, well, a life without the president is not a life worth living, so I might as well.
May as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So she just chooses a door and jumps. But it turns out...
the president jumps after her.
Yes.
Because they're in love.
Well, it turns out the door she jumps out of led actually to a mat. Mm-hmm. Not every door did, which was the reveal.
Oh, I didn't get that part.
Oh yeah, no, not every door led.
I thought it was all mat for some reason.
I thought so initially as well. I was like, oh, the floor will just not be like hard or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, because as soon as the president jumped out, I was like, well, this is... And then it turned out not all of the floor, all the doors led out to somewhere safe. She picked the right door.
Yeah.
And then, they have a little thing, and then she's like, come be my secretary, and they just have a line from Yumeko being like, well, we reached an understanding, and I was like, so again, the game had no consequences.
And the president and the assistant are in love.
Sure.
That's what they kiss or something. Doesn't she like nuzzle her ear?
Yeah, basically.
It's fucking weird.
Because, she's like her pet. So, yeah. But again, it was like, at least the other games from the previous season, the money, you could see someone won, someone lost. This, it's like, what did Yumeko win?
She won the tower. She got the tower now.
Yeah, but we don't know. Like, what did she win?
She won nothing.
Yeah.
She won her life.
Well, we all know that she just likes to gamble anyway, so it was like, but you gotta have...
That's stupid.
Yeah. Okay, so then it moved on. It moved on to episode 11 and 12, which was the auction. Okay. The auction game. And so we got a few people. We got our main character finally. Mike's back in.
Mike's back. Yes.
We got Eye Patch is there.
Eye Patch. Geisha.
Yeah, Geisha.
Mary.
Mary shows up as well. Of course, Yumeko.
Isn't Vice President there too?
No.
Where'd she go? Who knows? Also, who cares?
And the auction's being put on by Batsumami.
Yeah.
The butler.
The handsome butler who all the ladies love.
All the ladies love. And then it also turns out some of the people from our 15 introduced characters are behind somewhere else in a glass watching the auction and taking part as well. But it was...
We don't find out they're taking part at first.
Yeah, no, that's revealed later. But I was going to say, just when he explained the rules of the auction, I was like, this seems way too easy to beat and crack.
I didn't understand the rules.
Yeah.
So they were auctioning off votes.
Yeah, votes. Blocks of 100 votes.
And they could auction... They had to pay their own money for it.
Yeah, no, they had to pay their own votes for the auction, and then whatever you bid was paid to the auctioneer.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So if the votes got up to 100
votes for 101.
Yeah. So you're losing
-1.
You're -1. Yeah. Okay.
And so I was like, this seems too easy to crack.
Yeah, so they're playing along, and then they keep going up and up and up, and they don't understand why. Mary's having a hissy fit, and they're all blaming each other, and then they figure out that there's people voting from another room.
Yeah, as well as, I liked it, I think it was in round 3-ish or so, that they do when they're showing people putting in their votes, or their bids. they do a quick flash and you can see like a hand with a glove, and I was like, oh, that's Batsumami's hand there.
Yeah,
and then they're like, the auctioneer is also in the auction, and he's like, okay, you got me, I won't bid anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because could just run it up, of course.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was also saying that, because there's the election official, that because Mary's like, no, well, let's work together, like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, if you're working together, I'll stop the auction because that's collusion. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh, no, we can't trust anybody, etc.
And then Mary ends up buying, like, a bunch of votes for, like,
90 or whatever. Yeah. Well, but I was saying before that, though, Yumeko gets her 3 billion yen from the previous week.
Oh yeah, because she wants more money. She wants to add more to it.
Yeah, so she wants to add more to it, and she tells Batsumami to be like, tell us for real what's really going on and who you are or whatever.
Yeah.
Turns out he's the house slave, and he's been since a kid, and he's actually a girl.
That's right.
And then he's just like, I want to take down the family, and there's some anime crazy.
That ultimately doesn't matter.
Yes.
But he's accumulated all these votes that he's able to auction off because all of the pretty girls that he's been falling in love with him just gave them to him in like rock, paper, scissors, I assume, or something.
No, there was like a ballot thing where the bet was, it's like, oh, is this person gonna like win or something like that kind of thing. And then they all just put him in there.
Yeah.
So he's got a ton of votes.
Yeah.
Or she now.
She.
Yeah.
They.
And it's all, they. And it's all like, oh no. And then Yumeko cracks the game easily by just going on a suicide run.
Yeah.
Of buying.
101.
Yeah, 101.
And then she stops and starts doing it for like, or somebody else.
Yeah. Because then basically wheelchair person figures it out that it's like, oh, she just wants someone to like respond. They do 101. Yeah. And then after that, it's just one.
Yeah. And then they all kind of take turns.
Yeah. Buying 100 votes, and Batsumami's freaking out and being like, no, rah, I'm losing the game. And it was like, yeah, duh.
Yeah. And then, so that was stupid. And then something else happens. Doesn't he play something against the president or something?
No, him and Yumeko have a coin toss.
Right.
Edit that out. They have a coin toss for the 3 billion yen versus her last name, because she's part of the Bami clan. She's a cousin. Okay. Her name's Yumeko Jabami.
Oh, right. So
and so they're like, she could technically take over the clan. Whatever.
So if Yumeko wins, she gets her 3 million yen back.
Billion yen back.
Billion, whatever.
Yeah.
And if Batsumami wins, she gets Yumeko's last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. Like, it was like, she gives up the name.
Yeah. Because she doesn't give a shit anyway.
Yeah, she just wants to gamble anyway.
She just wants to gamble. Who cares?
And it's heavily implied that the woman that she's talking about in her little backstory is Yumeko's mom or relative of some sort.
Yeah, or sister. Maybe it's her crazy sister in the hospital.
Yes. No, because it's like an older woman, right? And
maybe it's her mom. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and she dies or something.
Yeah, or like she's broken and loses all her money or whatever.
I think it's her sister-in-law.
Right, it's also possible. It's heavily implied anyway, but it's not revealed.
Okay, so here's what happened. Butler is hanging out, sweeping. Yeah. And then a pretty lady comes in and just like, here's a pen.
Yeah, like a brooch of some sort, or a hairpin, right?
And she's like, wow, she's the nicest lady in the whole world. And then the lady loses money, and then she goes to the hospital. Yeah. And because of that, the butler's like, I
gotta take down the system.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Fight Club on this.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so they do the coin flip, which we don't get to see the results, but we find out later what the result was, which you could
won.
Yeah, you could guess what the result is.
And but it didn't matter because Batsumami is now a free bird. Yeah. And who becomes president?
It's not finished.
Oh, we're gonna wait for season 3. Right, because this whole season was fucking pointless.
Yeah, the game doesn't end.
My mistake.
That was one of my complaints about it, is that the game doesn't end. Which...
I forgot that.
Yeah, so that's the end of the season.
No point to watching this season.
That's the end.
Every episode was pointless, but 4 of them were incredibly pointless.
Yes.
goodbye.
Yeah, that's what was weird. So here was my main thought was, because I was looking it up, there was no official announcement, of course, of season 3. It was gonna, I guess, depend on the numbers by Netflix. The earliest they could even get one out would be 2020, of course.
Yeah.
Because I feel like season 3 could probably wrap up this whole election thing, and maybe it would make sense to watch 2 and 3 back to back.
What I think is, they put out season 1.
Mm-hmm.
It was more popular than they thought it was going to be, so they rushed season 2.
Mm. Yeah, possibly.
And the live action that they put out wasn't enough to tide people over.
Yeah, I was curious. Is that like another show or a movie?
I think it's a show. I guess we should watch that now.
I didn't even click. I almost clicked on it because I was like, wait. And I was like, no, I'm watching this anime. I'm focusing on that right now. Yeah, because, like I said, the game doesn't end.
Yeah.
Which...
You know what? It doesn't end anything. Nothing ends. This is pointless.
I feel like if they hadn't introduced so many of these characters, and they could have just done an arc about this election thing and just ended it on...
Yeah, you know what? They could have done 10 episodes and not included the tower.
No, I think...
They could have done 8 episodes and not included the idol.
No, I think doing the 12 episodes is fine, but then maybe instead of having every one game per 2 episodes, like they could have... Because they did that in the previous season as well as in this one. Like, you just... Because with the ranking thing, they just show a couple of flashes of some people losing a game or whatever. And you're like, okay, you know, it's like...
Yeah.
Here's what the totals are. And
you know what they could have done?
Mm-hmm.
Just retooling this piece of shit that we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know how in season 1 we follow Mike?
Mm-hmm.
In season 2 we could have followed Butler.
Well, there's a lot of the Butler in it.
But we could have followed him watching each game or whatever and being nice to people and, you know, and then it would be like, oh,
because I think, Matsumami has the second most screen time, I think, out of the entire rest of the cast.
Really?
I think so. He's in it more than Mike, Mary.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like Yumeko and him, and even Yumeko disappears it a couple times.
Yeah. You know, we could have eliminated the vice president sideline. We could have just said, oh, Mary won a bunch of votes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's why I was kind of annoyed by that they didn't revisit, because it seemed like it was going to be a big deal.
Nothing's a big deal. Nothing matters.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying, okay, it was
I think the vice president was at the auction, but she wasn't participating.
Yeah,
she was just sitting beside Mary.
Yeah. Something like that, anyway. But... yeah, that's why I was saying it could make sense if 2 and 3 are watched together, but it also could make sense if they even announced the fact that there was going to be a season 3 because it's like...
Yeah, it's just bad. It's not good. Don't watch it. Watch season 1 and then burn Netflix.
Well, no, honestly, I feel like at this point it's not worth your time to watch season 2, but potentially if season 3 comes along and makes it like an arc, a full story, it could be worth watching season 2, 3 together.
Watch season 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Throw out your computer.
I don't think that's necessary. Maybe put it up on a coin toss, and that because maybe you can win.
There you go. There you go. Put it up on a coin toss. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no stakes.
You could learn from Yumeko, and you're like, you know what? It's time to put this up for a coin toss.
If this show has taught me anything, it's that I should jump off buildings for no reason.
And just gamble away everything.
Gamble everything away.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Like I said, for me overall, I liked the games.
Oh yeah, but the games are the best part.
Yeah, but the things around the games.
But not all the games were great. I think
the idol and the tower ones were I liked the card game in the idol one, but
yeah, the counting to 9.
Yeah, that was good.
The greater good.
Yeah. I like the 3-finger guillotine game.
You know, I would have
liked the psychological element about it.
Yeah, I think I would have liked it if it wasn't the first episode.
That as well.
But it was such an abrupt way to start a season.
Yeah.
And it was very all over the place with its timeline. In the first 3 episodes, I feel like they really didn't know what they were doing. So they had 3 timelines going, but instead of intercutting them in a way that made sense, they just threw them all at the wall and in whatever order it landed in was the order they were going to show you.
Well, and I think the guillotine game could have been more fun if it wasn't eye patch. with Yumeko and the other girl.
Yeah.
Aipachi was like, I don't care anyway. Like, if there was someone else that kind of cared about losing a finger, then there could have been some more
the only
interplay there.
The only argument that I could have for that is that for the other girl, the eye girl, it was super intense because it was like these two fucking crazy people who were never gonna chicken out.
Yeah. Which I did like that aspect of it.
Yeah. That was the only, like, we just need more eye patch.
Well, she tries to get in there a couple more times.
Yeah. Yamiko's a little mad at her.
Episode.
Yeah. But those 4 episodes didn't need to be in it. If you want to skip them, do that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. Any other thoughts on the show, Dan? You love season 2. You want more characters for season 3.
No,
we need another 15 fucking characters.
Well, and I think that, like I said, this is my main issue with it, is that if you're not going to wrap up the storyline, then at least be like, we're going to do 2 seasons, and it's going to be, or like, we're going to do season 2 and 3, it's going to be the storyline, so people know.
Yeah.
Like I said, now I'm just kind of more annoyed that I'm like, I just watched this, there's no resolution of this game.
Does it make you want to read the manga?
Sort of, but then I'm also like, I don't think it's going to be as clever as I imagine it is going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think because as well, like, I read Liar Game so much, like, I read a ton of that. I don't even know if it finished, but that game, that was again about crazy gambling, but it was all like psychological games, like the Greater Good game. So maybe that's my expectation is kind of offish.
Yeah, plus, like, the show in season 1, like, there's a charm to, like, the soundtrack and that you wouldn't get with a manga.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what? Their biggest mistake was changing the theme song.
It definitely put me off. And I was like, what is this?
Okay, because here's the thing. The opening of season 1 was so good, and it set up what happened in the entire season. Just in a weird way. But, like, you kind of see each part in this, like, weird, surreal, dreamlike way, and it had this really cool, like, cowboy bebop song.
Yeah.
But then the season 2 opening credits was, like, just a pile of fucking garbage.
I admittedly only watched it once, and I don't remember.
It was a pile of garbage.
I remember in the beginning she throws down a big stack of chips, which I was like, okay. And then this bad song started, and I was like, oh, no, what's this?
And then in the closing credits, like in the closing credits of season 1, it's her just kind of walking sexily, and her boobs are very jiggly.
And she's got the red eye going.
Yeah, and in season 2, it's like lying in a field, and it's just like, we don't need to talk about the tower game anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't good. It was bad.
I am overall disappointed. Was hoping for a little more.
Who did season 2? The American Gods guys?
No.
The fuck? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fair.
Callbacks.
Call back to that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was just a little more disappointed. I was hoping. Yeah, but like I said, it makes me curious. Is that if there is going to be a season 3, will it wrap this up in a satisfying manner?
No. There should have been only 1 season and then burn it to the ground.
Well, or you take a step back, write a cohesive story, and then you do it. And you also put a time jump in between and not make it the next week because it doesn't make sense.
Do you have any predictions for season 3? Do you think who will be the new president? I think it'll just stay the same. It'll be the same president.
Yeah, like obviously they're kind of, Mary wants to be the president. She's like, I'm going to do it.
She's not going to do it. She's going to, whatever. She's going to lose her votes and then realize that makes her a better person.
Right. She'll lose them to Yumeko in some kind of weird way, and then Yumeko will gamble against the president and then win, but then also be like, I'll just put it up on a coin toss and then lose.
No, I think, okay, here's what I think.
Okay.
So we're going to get, our top 4 is going to be Yumeko, Mary, President, and Wheelie.
Sure.
Okay.
And Mike will be in there. So top 5, let's say.
Why is Mike in there?
He's still getting votes.
Oh, that's right.
He was at the auction game. He was getting votes.
Okay, so Mike will be the first out.
Sure, yeah.
And then there'll be those top 4, okay? Sure. And then what'll happen is... No, wait. Okay, here we go. Yumiko's gonna lose to Mike.
Right.
So it'll be Wheelie, President, Mike, and Mary.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Mike's gonna lose to Mary.
Sure.
So then we get Wheelie, Mary, and President. Mary's gonna lose to Wheelie, but she's gonna do it for reasons.
Yeah, like purposely.
Sneaky reasons.
Yeah.
And then the president's just gonna pulverize Wheelie.
Right.
And she's gonna stay president and everything else will stay the same.
Yeah, you gotta involve Yumiko near the end in some kind of crazy way, though.
Yumiko is gonna step in for the president because they put in a rule about tag teams.
right, yeah, and then she'll crush the wheelchair
and
person.
And then she'll crush Wheelie.
Yeah.
And Wheelie should have tagged out, but she decides not to because she thinks she's the best, where the president knows what her strengths are.
Yeah.
And that's why she tags Yumiko in. Stupid. Anything that they come up with is going to be that.
Well, and like I said, it makes me curious that in the manga this is already done or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know either, like how ahead it is, or if it's finished, or like.
Also, Mary and Mike are gonna fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's in love with Yumiko all the time, but he's gonna
realize that she's crazy.
No, she's gonna realize that Yumiko is the one he loves, but Mary's the one he can have.
Right. Fair enough.
I don't know. It's all dumb.
Okay.
Because Yumiko's in love with gambling. She's never going to be in love with a person.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, and then there's going to be another thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the president, because Yumiko loses to Mike.
Yeah.
Because the president makes a deal with Yumiko behind the scenes that we don't get to see until after the fact.
Sure.
That
4 episodes later.
Yeah, that if she loses to Mike, then she can be a tag team for her later, and that in exchange, the president will
bankroll her or something.
Give Yumiko's sister her legs back or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a gamble because if things don't go according to plan,
she won't get tagged.
She doesn't get anything. Yeah. So it's a double. Like if Mike doesn't win against Mary or whatever I said, that she doesn't. She'll get nothing.
Yeah.
And her sister has no legs.
All right.
Do you have any predictions, or do you think I'm right?
It sounds pretty spot on.
I don't know what's wrong with her sister, but I'm assuming that she lost her legs in a gambling. Yeah, that's what happened. Her older sister was the one that gave Butler the brooch, and when she lost the game, they cut her legs off, and that's why she's in the hospital. Good night.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. I think we should wrap it up.
Sure.
Unless you've got anything else to say.
No, I think I've mentioned most
Would you recommend watching season 2? No.
Well, no, as I said earlier, I think maybe waiting to find out if there's a season 3.
No. Okay. That's fair. I don't recommend it. You can find us everywhere at Tome of Uselessness. So that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also go to our website, which is tomeofuselessness.com. And we have a fancy email, whereas if you have questions for Daniel or I...
Yeah, questions, comments, topic ideas.
What's the email?
tomeofuselessness@gmail.com.
Cool. And we'll answer your questions.
Yeah.
If anybody asks.
Yeah, no, sure.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
The podcast. Goodbye.